Hello everybody, Blue Dooley, and in this ATS vlog we're just going to be kind of talking about whatever, and we're checking out a Ford FTL 9000, which is one of my favorite looking trucks of all time. I haven't gotten to drive one yet in real life. I have driven plenty of L9000 Fords along with some 750s and other medium duty Ford trucks, and they're actually pretty good. Those L9000s, they're not very pretty, but every single one of them I've driven, even been run into the ground, they're all just keep chugging along. They work. They're not pretty, but they work. The FTL 9000 though is a pretty truck. Let's shrink me down here. That is the one we are driving today, and I'm going to jump into the game because right now I'm in OBS. Let's hop over here, bring up the menu, and it took me forever to figure out how this mod worked, because if you go in here to Truck Browser and scroll up, I have the Mac Ultraliner, the K100, an Autocar, actually two different versions of an Autocar, the International HX520, Freightliner FLB, T800, Argosy, the CHU 613 Mac, and the rubber duck truck, which I think is going to freeze the game. Nope. So to actually view the truck, you actually have to go to truck dealers, go down to the mod dealer, and for some reason, it and the Superliner by Renate, Renate, I don't know. For some reason, he put him in Kenworth, even though there's a Mac dealer. Oop, game crashed. Alright, for some reason, both his trucks are in the Kenworth dealer, even though there is a Mac dealer. Gotta scroll over to it. It starts off as a day cab. You can do the Aero cab or the flat top, which is what I'm running. For some reason, just a single axle dump truck, triaxle short, and triaxle, or triaxle, I'm guessing it's supposed to be aluminum, and triaxle steel. Few engine selections, some transmissions, only one interior. Does come in the classic or black. Well, wine red. And then it does have quite a few bumpers. That one apparently is missing. Almost all the bumpers have, you can put lights everywhere on this truck too. I'm running the chrome one with the chicken sticks. Only one mirror. Several different exhausts. I don't know if the flap caps are animated, but that would be cool if they were. And then interior, the thing I kind of dig is you can change the shift layout. Looks like a chrome low-res shotgun. So yeah, if you download the FTL 9000, or the LTL 9000, excuse me, or the Superliner from Renate, they're under Kenworth. We got loaded up with some hay, going to Bend, Oregon. We're starting out in Twin Falls. I went with steel wheels on the lift axle, the drives, and all the trailer axles are steel. Went with just a basic bumper, miter cut stacks. I'm not sure if this is the newest version of the truck, but some of the textures are a little weird. In one of the headache racks, the turn signals only work. Well, there's two lights on it. When you go to turn left, they don't blink. When you go to turn right, they both blink. Apparently we're not heavy enough. The game thought I needed the lift axle down on the truck. We'll drop it anyways. The lights on the back of the sleeper are animated, which is really cool. And the interior is not that bad. None of the the gauges appear to work, but none of the switches do. Even the one for the turn signal isn't animated. That's alright. Got my cooler and my chain and chrome skull shift knob. So let's get rolling out. We'll roll down the window, just so we can listen to the truck for a little while. Nice deep tone and whistle to it. Now hay haulers out here, you see a couple of configurations. They're usually, the most common are a straight deck with two pups or triples. I have seen a 48 footer with a pup. This quad axle trailer I'm running with the quad axle truck is actually a pretty common sight for flatbeds and bulk potato haulers and stuff. As Pacific Northwest, they run a lot of quad axle setups. I also think they're pretty common up in Canada. I have not been to Canada, so don't quote me on that though. Run through Twin Falls and get up to the freeway. Should have went the other way so I could have avoided most of the lights, but the GPS in this game is kind of like it is in real life and not always truck friendly. Antennas are animated. I like the LTL for the same reason I like the Superliner. They just got that big old grille, the big bulky fenders. They just look really good. And everybody drives a Pete and a Kenworth. Drive something different. I've actually driven some medium-duty Chevy trucks, and they aren't too bad. Of course, none of them were new and in really good shape when I drove them. And I have driven some beat L9000s too. They're still a really popular truck, the L9000. At least you see a lot of them running around in out here in Idaho when they do harvest. Let me know how your week's going down in the comments. Mine's going pretty good. Went to Pocatello Monday, Idaho Falls on Tuesday. The weather's not too bad, a little cool with a chance of rain. And that's alright, we could use the moisture. As a lot of our reservoirs and canals were running pretty dry now. In fact, they closed one whole canal off several months early just because it was running so low. Hope you caught the... Well, I know not a lot of people caught it live, but my last live stream was working on James's axial deadbolt. In fact, if I lean over, you can probably see it over there. Got it taken apart and completely stripped the transmission down, took all the gears out of it, cleaned it up. We're not sure why, but he just isn't getting the same runtime I am, even though we're running the same batteries. If you see any of my videos with him, we are both running Venom 3000 milliamp nickel metal batteries. He had started off with lipos, and I don't know if the charger isn't that great, or maybe he just didn't have the balance, or had the settings right, but they never lasted. You'd get 1 or 2 runs out of them and then just swell. And I never switched to lipo until, except recently. I have some lipo batteries for the CXT, just so I can have more runtime, larger milliamp for towing that trailer. But nickel metal works fine for crawling. The wife, actually, we have the 2000 milliamp pack that came with her HPI Venture, and we've never ran it completely dead, even on a almost 2.5 mile hike. It had plenty of juice for that. So I'm going to take apart the axles on his deadbolt just to see if there's anything binding in them, or if there's any unusual wear. I didn't know that the deadbolt, or that particular deadbolt, it's the first gen one, so it's not on the SCX-10 chassis. It has plastic gears in it. The idler and the main gear for the outputs are like a nylon or heavy duty plastic. And they don't have a ton of wear on them. The teeth are a little pointy, but his bearings and stuff are all good. So I just greased it and put it back together after cleaning it out. Get the old gunky grease out and some of the little gear shavings. So next I'll get onto the axles, check them out, re-grease them. He's still running all stock electronics in it. So since I'm going to convert the Wheelie King back into a monster truck, I think I'm going to take that Quick Run 1080 out of it and put it in his deadbolt, along with my 35 turn motor. He's still running the stock 20 turn axial. But since he's running a fairly heavy wheel and tire combo, I don't know. He hasn't burnt up the motor. It runs really good. But I think a higher turn motor with a little more torque probably would perform a little better in it, even if the top speed suffers. Let's go outside view for the canyon. Got a little too close for the AI's comfort. That setup just looks so good. I'm running at 13 speed as always, with the highest horsepower engine. Come on. I think I'll have to check his radio settings, but the steering knuckles actually have enough angle they bind up the dog bones. So I don't know if that's causing him to use up a little more juice or not. But I told him I'd look at it, so that's what we're doing. Wow, somebody actually tarped their dump load. Don't see that often. I also know I need to get working on that damn snowplow and get it done before the snow starts flying. CB's not, microphone's not even animated. It's alright, still a cool looking truck. It's not actually 60 through here, so I don't know why the game does that. But the speed limit in the game's kind of weird anyways. Kick her up into 13th. FM 1051. That's actually the Idaho Falls rock station. Or is it 1015? I don't remember off the top of my head. But the Edge is, the Edge is the local station out of Jerome, and K-Bear, which I think is 1015, out of Idaho Falls, is a really awesome rock station. If you're in the area and you dig rock and roll. If you're in Boise, I don't remember what the numbers are, but find the X, and that's a kick-ass rock and roll station. I haven't programmed it in the truck, so I don't remember numbers off the top of my head, because I don't actually get over to Boise that much. Unless I'm taking floors, which I hope you checked out that dash cam video I uploaded, driving off the mountain and through part of Old Town Boise. A lot of those streets are one way, so getting around in a truck's kind of interesting, as you can't go out exactly the same way you came in. The only available engines for this truck are the Detroit 60 series, which none of the Fords I have driven ever had a Detroit in them. They were Cummins or Caterpillar, and that's it. In fact, most of them were early 90s, like 92, 93, and they all had M11 Cummins in them. And up in Casper, we had one that had about a squazillion miles on it. And that damn truck, it would start when you wished it wouldn't. We wouldn't plug it in, and you could go out there 40, 50 below, 3 o'clock in the morning, and that damn truck would fire up every time. It'd cough and smoke like a son of a bitch for a while, but it'd always start. It was not pretty, and it was not fast, but that damn truck, it'd chug along no matter what the weather was. Would never throw a fit. It just, you couldn't hustle with it, but you could get shit done with that truck. It had a rear load body on it, and the other couple of L9000s I've driven were M11 Cummins and 8 speeds, because they were just straight trucks with a roll-off body on them. And all of them, they weren't pretty, but by golly, they'd fire up every morning, and they'd get the job done. The thing I really like about the Ford L9000 trucks is they got that real big steering wheel. And since the cabs on them aren't super huge, if I had to sit at a long traffic light, I could let the clutch pedal up until my knee hit the steering wheel, and the clutch would still be disengaged. So I wouldn't have to physically hold the clutch pedal in. I could just rest my knee up against the steering wheel and still have the clutch disengaged. One of the perks of being tall, I suppose. Again, not show trucks by any stretch of the imagination, but just good old work trucks. And in other trucks' defense, I've driven a lot of trucks that have been ran into the ground, not just Fords or Chevys, but 2 Peterbilts were well past their prime. Most of the Kenworths, well, I've only driven 4, and they're all in pretty decent shape. But I've driven a clapped out old Mack, International, Freightliner. And the thing I always kind of chuckle about is you get the really hardcore brand loyal people, which in automobiles, yeah, there's a lot of difference between manufacturers. In the heavy-duty truck world, the only real difference is the sheet metal. You want an LTL Ford with a big Cummins or a Caterpillar? You could get that. You want a Kenworth or a Peterbilt with a big Cummins or a Caterpillar in it? You could get it. could spec pretty much every brand heavy duty truck identical. The only difference is the sheet metal. You want Spicer axles instead of Meteors? Fine. Rockwells, whatever. And the Peterbilt and Kenworth thing is especially funny because they're both owned by PACCAR. So the only difference is the sheet metal. In fact, the one plant, the Peterbilts roll out one door and the Kenworths roll out the other door. They're damn near on the same assembly line. And when Ford, Chevy, and Dodge were all making semi-trucks, you get the same engine and transmission in them as you could in your Peterbilt or your Kenworth. And brand loyalty, like, you know, I get having your favorites. I have mine. I prefer Mack and International for heavy duty, and Dodge or Ford for light duty. The people I don't get are the blindly brand loyal, or the brand loyal fanatics that jump on a post and no matter what it is, they gotta say something negative if it isn't their brand. Which admittedly I used to do when I was younger, and then I worked as a mechanic. And I also drove a tow truck for a while, and you know what? They all break. In fact, I think the only way you can brag about not having a recall is if you own a Rolls Royce or Bentley. I looked it up the other day, and I believe in the most current study I saw on it, Porsche had the lowest number of recalls out of any auto manufacturer. And the only Chevy that had the lowest recall was the Equinox. I think. It was something weird. It wasn't the Silverado, I can tell you that. So those people you always see in threads that are just bash anything but their brand. You have to admit your own brand has faults. Because they all do. Yes, I like Dodge. You want to know what? Even though I like Dodge, I can still tell you that the transmissions are junk, the electrical's iffy, and the second gen and third gen, the front ends are shit. I'm on my third track bar, which I went aftermarket, and this one's holding up a little better because it doesn't have a ball joint on one end. It has hemispherical joints at both ends, and they're greasable and serviceable. Yeah, I've replaced all the steering on it twice. Third track bar, yeah, I like Dodge, and I can tell you, look you straight in the camera and say the front ends are shit. If you're one of those people who can't acknowledge your own brand's faults, then I don't know what to tell you, except get off your high horse, because at this point anymore they're all shit. If you're a Ford guy, let's talk about those spark plugs in them Triton motors that had a severe tendency to just snap off in the head. Yeah. Or the Allison transmission in the Duramax, which, thanks to GM's programming, not Allison's programming, couldn't shift fast enough if you actually put some horsepower to it. Or on them IFS trucks that if you put enough horsepower to them, your steering rods would just break and you'd tow in. Or, all of them, well, I think almost all of them had that airbag recall because there's only like 3 or 4 airbag manufacturers. Yeah, even everybody's, the almighty 12 valve Cummins has its problems. Like the killer dowel pin or the 53 block that just splits. So, yeah, I can go. I prefer Cummins, but I can also say, yeah, they have problems. I worked as a Cummins mechanic at a Cummins shop. They break. Caterpillars break, Max break, they all break. So pick which one you like driving, and hopefully you don't get one built on payday Friday before a long weekend, so it's actually built really well. In fact, the current Kenworth I drive is the first Caterpillar engine I've ever driven that didn't need to be in the shop every other month. God, that, what was it, a 2006 Freightliner. That truck, because of the way it was spec'd, it didn't have Jake brakes, so it had a different type of injector than normal. And about every other month, one of the injectors would have to be replaced because the connector melted, and it wouldn't get signal from the ECU. I drove that truck three years, and every injector in it had been replaced at least damn near twice. One of the Chevys I drove was an 82 GMC Kodiak or Top Kick. I forget which one's which. They're the same damn truck except the grill. But it had a non-turboed V8 Caterpillar. And God, that thing was gutless, but it was kind of like that M11 Cummins. It'd always start. When it was cold, it's just fog out the entire parking lot where we had all them trucks parked. Just bucking and coughing and just smoke like hell for about 40 minutes before it finally warmed up enough and idle out. Spent many a cold day driving that truck with the sloppiest 10-speed ever. I'd have to lean to get it in 9th and 10th. That's how loose that transmission was. I have buddies with motorcycles, and they're just as funny as car guys. Yeah, you can always tell who owns a Harley and where they park because there's always oil on the ground where it's leaking. However, the only vehicle brand that's tried to kill me is Volvo. I've had 2 Volvo trucks try to kill me. I don't have pictures of the steering failure on one of them. And thankfully both times, knock on wood, I wasn't on the freeway. They broke about 5 minutes after I got off the freeway. Just the steering arm on the passenger side of the one truck just broke. And the other Volvo, the axle broke, one of the drive axles broke between the 2 hub bearings. So the whole tandem axle assembly came out of the truck. I have pictures of that. I'll throw that up on the screen. Because, yeah, those had happened while I was cruising down the interstate at 70 miles an hour. That would have went a lot more south than it did. So I'm not a terribly big fan of Volvo. None of them I've driven are new, well, or were bigger cabs. So they were cramped, wore out. So I admit that it's probably not giving them a fair shake, but I've also not heard anybody say nice things about them. Of course, nobody says nice things about Freightliner either, but the ones I've driven, except for the motor in that one, have done all right. Usually if a Freightliner has a problem, it's electrical. 64,000. That's awful nice of you to let us out. We'll blink the flashers at him. Thank you. Dead fender benders. Or they're lost. So yeah, you can tease about other brands, but you have to be able to admit your brand's faults. You know, another good example is the twin I-beam suspension on the Ford had for a while, which annihilated, just chewed the hell out of tires and ball joints, but for pre-runner suspension, people are still running twin I-beams. It's just a good performing setup off-road. You just have to accept that you're going to need ball joints and tires all the time. Too many downshifts. I'm cool with the Dad's Old Dead Garage Experiment or Found on Road Dead. I can't think of any Chevy ones off the top of my head, but my favorite one's actually for Jeep. Just Enough Essential Parts. Because again, a little good-natured ribbing's fun. But some people just take that shit way too seriously. It's like, you need to calm the F down, switch to decaf or something. Because those kinds of people just aren't any fun to hang out with. I always teased my buddy when we were in high school because I liked Mopar and he was a Chevy guy. And his dad and him loved watching that Barrett Jackson auction. I was like, it's funny how the all numbers matching Genko Camaro, all original except the oil and the gas. You know, they'd go across the auction block, 28, 38,000. And then you get a Charger that's 90% rust. None of the body panels match, 80,000. Although I have to admit, while I'm not a fan of what the Barrett Jackson auto auctions have done to the price of old vehicles, because too many people have seen those auctions and think their garbage is worth way more than it is. I'm sure everybody's seen the meme of the truck with the tree growing through it. Ran when parked. One owner, low miles, no low balls, I know what I got. You know, it ain't ran in 50 years, but oh yeah, I need 60,000 for you to drag it on the trailer with a winch or come along after you use a sawzall to cut the tree out of it. But I actually got a chance to go to the Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale location when I was in tech school, and I have to admit, we went in my '87 Suburban, so those dudes knew we didn't have any money. But one of the sales guys, because we told him we were from the tech school, we were going to the tech school, and he actually gave us a tour of the whole damn shop, even back in the back where they kind of worked on some of the vehicles. And he'd answer any question about any vehicle in that showroom or that shop. So I have to say, for the amount of money those guys get for some of them cars, the fact that one of them was willing to show us around, knowing we didn't have enough money to buy, a bucket of rust to some of that stuff, was actually really cool. He told us the history of, what was it, a 55 Cadillac limousine, granite top bar, solid fancy wood interior. Of course, they had Camaros and Mustangs, but I don't give a crap about them because you see all of those. I like the 55 Caddy Fleetwood limo, or the 30-something Ford, or the 40-something Studebaker. Those are what's cool to me. Because you go to a car show and there's always a Camaro or a Mustang. And a bunch of Corvettes. But the rarer stuff, that's the stuff I like seeing. The Studebaker pickup, which, if you didn't know, Studebaker actually did make trucks. There's actually a gentleman right behind that camera, almost down the road from me. He has a Studebaker pickup truck in his garage. It's a great looking truck. I've never seen him drive it though. I don't know if I just haven't been to a car show he's gone to, or it's still a work in progress restoration. I'm not sure. I'm never out when he's out, so I can go talk to him about it. And you see a lot of old everything when you are out in farm country. Old cars, old trucks, old tractors. I like the old trucks and tractors. I'm one of those people who's like, man, that'd make a cool project. I don't have anywhere to put it. I don't have anywhere to work on it, but I sure would like to have it. And the mirrors are kind of lousy with that little bit of window tint. Headlights are brighter than hell, though. Yeah, truck definitely has some really good headlights. Diner. I like diners. That's why I'm fat, because I like food. And I like food that isn't good for you. Speaking of old cars, I always got to chuckle because most of people my parents' age grew up with the hot rods. When Dad graduated high school and went to the Navy. He had a 1969 Mercury Cougar Eliminator with the 428 Super Cobra jet, which we found out when I took him to the showroom for Barrett Jackson Auto down there in Scottsdale. We found out he had basically one of 2,000 of the 69 Eliminators with that motor and the C6 transmission, I think. And if he had actually kept it and kept it in pretty good shape, it would have been worth 60,000, I want to say. And Mom, for some reason, always wanted an Austin Healey. 60-something Austin Healey with running boards. For some reason, my sister was never a car person, even though the parents had weird car likes. I always wanted a World War II pickup truck. Old Dodge pickup truck. And in high school, before I got my Jeep, there's an Army surplus store in Fort Collins that had the Kaiser Jeep, what is it, the M715, the 5/4 ton. For some reason, I couldn't get Mom and Dad to buy that for me. Something about needing a vehicle with anti-lock brakes and seat belts. I think I could have put seat belts in it. But no. I ended up with a 94 Jeep Cherokee, which I loved. Many, many adventures with that Jeep. People don't need to be sleeping. 9:30 on a Tuesday. I have no idea if that trailer's hitting anything or not. Can't see shit out that mirror. I have friends with tuners, and I just like car people. Car people who like driving their cars. I don't see the point of owning a vehicle and then there's nobody over there. Only take them out to car shows. Kind of looking at them Corvette guys. Rarely do I see a Corvette out and about driving around. One of our contractors drives a little Jag SUV. I see more of those or Porsches than I do Corvettes. Why are we getting off? Get back on again. Maybe it's Frontage Road? Don't look like it. I have no idea what the game's thinking. Apparently neither does the game. Half tempted to just drive around it. The problem with detours in this game is There isn't enough road to detour, really. Like, need a little more city streets and frontage roads if you're going to have us randomly detour around giant chunks of interstate. That said something was closed. Still don't have the mod to have the realistic businesses. I should get it, but I'm not. I haven't yet. Weird camera lighting there. Wished I had been recording the other day because I actually had the AI use a turn lane to pass me. It was a right turn only lane, and the AI would stop at the red light and then just pull forward straight, treating it like a stop sign. And I laughed because people have done that. They haven't ran a red light to get around me, but as soon as the light, like, if there's a right turn lane and it ends, I've had people just pass me in that turn lane, even if they gotta drive through the intersection and cut me off. So the AI being stupid's really kind of on the creepy level of how accurate their stupid is. Yeah, you can't even see the turn signals in the damn mirrors. They're so dark. Them high beams, though, they were bright. Bright headlights are kind of what you want. Trains in this game are a little short too. Out west, you can be sitting for a while at train tracks. Especially out through Wyoming and Nebraska, where the train's a couple miles long. Just about there. Drop a comment how your week's going. Tell me what your favorite car is. What is money no option? If you can find one that exists, even if they haven't made them in forever, let me know what your dream car is, or truck, or motorcycle. Hell, for that matter, if you got a dream boat, let me know. I've always wanted an M37. I seen one at a army surplus store when I was little, like little, and fell in love with it and have wanted one ever since. As ridiculous as it is. Yeah, tell me about your dream ride. Money no option. Or maybe you want to be like Jay Leno and just have a slew of cool cars. Holy shit, that was a barely visible icon. I didn't even have the high beams on. Since these mirrors are shit, we're going to outside view. I don't care. It's a video game, we can cheat. We can use outside view. I wonder if it'll let me. Good, it will. The thing with the game is if you're too heavy, it won't let you lift your lift axles. And since that trailer axle is steerable, you would always lift it when backing up so you don't steer it and just scrub the hell out of your tires. But I guess since we're not actually heavy enough to need them, the game will let us lift them. Off. You know what, I didn't even look. You can't even see the chicken lights from inside. Well, that's some bullshit right there. Boy, she just shuts right the hell off. 444 miles, 11 hours, drank 60 gallons of fuel, and made $18,100. So definitely drop me a comment. Let me know what your dream vehicle is. Car, truck, motorcycle, boat. If you have a dream aircraft, let me know. A friend of mine and I, even though neither one of us actually went to flight school, we always wanted a P-51 Mustang. Which I think probably anybody who's into aircraft at some point wanted, boy, I'd really like to fly one of those. So definitely drop a comment down below. Let's talk about favorite vehicles or your least favorite vehicle. We can talk about that too. Hope everyone's having a good week, and we will catch you in the next video.